Welcome to episode 7 of Parenting Chats. We have been discussing about building children's self-esteem. We discussed about the causes and the signs of low self-esteem. Now we want to talk about what we can do to build or to restore children's self-esteem. The lifestyle we need to adopt to ensure that our children do not have that problem at all, or what we can do to restore for those who have lost their self-esteem. Now, the number one step, and which we must make our lifestyle, is that we must always emphasize the good points of our children. We must always encourage them. We must always talk about their strengths, always commend them, always point out their positive areas. That is very, very helpful for the child's self-esteem. Then we must correct them in love and patiently. We need a lot of patience and love, when correcting them. Like we said earlier, children will always be children. They will always do things that you feel disappointed about. It could be about the academics, it could be in their character, it could be in the way they relate with people. So we must always be patient to guide them in the right path. A lot of us are used to yelling when we want to correct children. That will not work. That would only create a gulf between us and them. So we must always be calm when we need to correct them for any error or for any, wrong deed. Okay? Our children need validation, a word of reassurance, something to tell them that they are important, they are intelligent. See, even if a child has academic challenges, there must be one area or the other that child is good in. It could be in the arts. It could just be being a neat person, organized person. Then you hammer on that. You appreciate that very much before you talk about their challenges. So we must validate them. Whatever is good about them, use it to build them up. Use it to make them, to make them feel dignified. All right, so we need to really, really work on that. Then, another helpful tip is to have pet names for our children. Names that make them feel loved, that make them feel important. It could be their actual names that you will turn into something funky, It could be something they like to do that you will use to create a pet name for them. That goes a very long way to make them feel free, feel loved, feel accepted. Even when they do something wrong and you call that name, it calls them to order without you having to shout or, be their enemy about it. So the next one is that we should try as much as possible not to compare our children with anyone. Their siblings, a neighbor, a relation. Never ever compare them with anybody. That is highly demoralizing. Makes them feel like out of the whole lot, you are the worst. So never compare them. If you see anything good in anyone that you want them to emulate, don't even mention the person's name. Just mention those good points and counsel them with it. You don't need to make them feel, less important than any other person. All right? And encourage free communication. Let children be free to express themselves. Let them be free to, bear their mind. Let them contribute to decision making, even in the family. So that helps them to grow and to feel responsible. All right? And please, let us be good listeners. A lot of parents are bad listeners. We only talk. We don't want them to talk back. Not talk back in terms of being rude, but like I said, free flow of communication. Let them express themselves freely in a loving atmosphere. So let us listen to them. In most cases, a lot of information that would have saved children or even whole families from trouble have been missed because we do not listen to our children. So we should be very good listeners. We must be intentional in building high self-esteem because the children need it for their life, they need it in the future, they need it even in the choice of marriage. You see some ladies, they just fall for any riffraff because that is the person that has shown them some acceptance or love. Ladies would see some traits in a man and they will still go ahead and marry him just because they feel, he's the only one that has shown interest in me. He's the only one who loves me. Thereby they become victims of violence, victims of emotional abuse and all kinds, victims of neglect. Some are as good as slaves because they gave themselves cheaply to a man because they had low self-esteem. So this issue of self-esteem has far-reaching effects, and that is why we must be intentional and be deliberate about working on our children and ensure they have a very healthy self-esteem, high self-esteem. Thank you very much as we continue in this journey of building excellent children, total children. As we work together, I know we will achieve success. Thank you very much. See you at the next edition. Bye.